Hey, what's up everyone? 30 here. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to my channel. And here I'd like to introduce you to the first episode of Art Remedy, where we create beauty to save ourselves. Because I believe beauty can save us. And we need that little dose, injection of beauty in our life to get rid of all the misery and all the pain and trouble and all the dullness of what life has to offer and live it as beautifully as we can, to imbue that feeling of love and passion within. We all need that. We need that hope. We need that sense of hope. And we achieve that by dropping a potion of beauty to the world. It heals us. That's why Beauty Remedy is here, so it can heal our soul. So what we're going to be creating today, so it's my own style that I created. It's called Romantic Impressionism. Romantic because it imbues beauty, not just nature, capturing the evanescence of time in Impressionism, but imbuing a sense of beauty and a la vie en rouge, right, through a red lens. It's beautifying. There's things we see that may seem normal, but imbuing a sense of beauty to them. And I'm going to show you how I create these works of art, and hope you like my own style. But first, let's get rid of this one. I'm going to do another video for this one, but if you'd like to watch this. This is a tenebroso piece. So this is a style which the Renaissance masters used, using chiaroscuro, which means light to dark. And it's basically a very strong, in-depth, dramatic play on light. As you can see, it's very contrasted from the dark to the light. And that's what the old masters used. And this is a piece I'm currently working on right now. I'll do a video on that separately. Also, let me know what kind of artworks you want to, create, and we can do them together. But just quickly, before we start, I got a fresh supply of my brush cleaner, but I also use this as my solvent. So it's in place of using turpentine, which they can be carcinogenic. So I like to use non-toxic materials for my work, and this one's called Zest It. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my brush cleaner. This is basically what I use to do washes. So first, second layer of a painting this is what I use, just washes, really. Let's get to it. I'll try to attach the link to this Zest It. I highly suggest this if you're going to start oil painting. And if you don't want to use the chemicals, this is the best really solution for this. That should be enough. I mean, this is only 500 milliliters, but this is definitely plenty enough. And this should last me around really for a month or two. And that's creating a lot of big artworks, small artworks. 500 milliliters is only 17 pounds, 18 pounds, something like that. So my weapon of choice for the first layers when I do the wash is a bristle brush. A bristle brush is great for this because it actually spreads the paint around and pushes them. So this one you really need to spread as much as you can throughout the canvas. That's why you need to have a good, strong bristle brush or hog hair brush. Anything really that's, thick and quiet, resilient, that's what you need. That's what you need for the first layers, because you want to be pushing those paints around. And the colors we're going to be using, burnt umber. I like to use burnt umber because it's earthly colors and it sets a dark tone and a nice place for the pigments to actually stick towards as we build up the layers. Remember, Impressionism is really kind of working in impasto, and sometimes I do make it as thickly as I can, and sometimes it's a more subtle gradient towards the whole painting. It just depends really on what the feeling or the connection, that the romanticism that I want to actually portray in that painting. So if I want it to be very vibrant and powerful and full of vigor, then I use a lot of thick paints like Van Gogh. But if I kind of want it to be a little bit more subtle and gentle and beautified in that manner, I want it to be more finessed and softer. I use whatever really what I'm trying to portray, because the texture also plays a part in the feeling of the painting. I might do an impasto on this one because I want the waves, as you can see in the reference, I want the waves at the bottom to be impasto and the top as well, and the other ones, well, we shall see. Now, I'm not copying this painting or that artwork verbatim, so to speak, and it's just creating the work. No, I'm creating my own style in it as well by adding different hues into it. It's not just going to be an exact replica of that, because this is copyrights, and the only thing really that matters is the inspiration. We're inspired by everything and everything around us. Nothing that we create is purely on its own. Everything has already been created in this life and in this world, and it's all about just adding onto that, kind of like a painting, adding onto the layer and expressing your own version of that, to know that you have lived in this life, and that's what life's all about. It's not that no one has ever walked in life. It's just that creating your own path is the thing that makes life wonderful, isn't it? All right, let's get started. So the center, obviously that one was very round, like this, but this is a landscape, so I want it to be kind of like an eye, like an almond almost shape, not entirely round. I'm gonna create a little bit more curvature. So the middle is gonna be around here. So as you can see with my pen right now, it's not as running. I need to add a little bit more thinner. Still not pushing it enough though. I did have a flat brush, but I'm going to use that a little bit later. I just wanted to create the lines first, the guide. Then we can start filling in the colors. See that? It looks like an almond eye. And this is going to be the center, really, of that piece. It's crucial to fill in the horizon line with every painting, especially in landscapes, just so that you have, even if you block them in with the foreground and you cover them in the background and everything else, it's just good to know, to have that sense of balance and stability towards your painting, of knowing where that line, where the light or the horizon ends, and so you know where you can, you know, put and place your subjects in. So the sun is going to be a nice big blob over here. So that's the sun. Like I said, it's just filling in the shapes for now. We're going to start doing the gradients of the chroma and the values a little bit later. Looks like a Pokemon. Pokemon? I don't know if I want to do a lighthouse. Should we do a ship? No, I think I should do a lighthouse. What is something in the middle of the sea that helps and guides people? No, the sun in the lighthouse. No, that's poetic. The sun is a nature. The sun is a natural light, and a lighthouse is the sun at night, and it is man-made. So there is a sense of light all throughout, which permeates the darkness that we may feel inside. That's the cliff, rocks. Impressionism is all about just creating impressions. It doesn't have to be entirely realistic. That's why I love Impressionism, because you don't have to be so imprisoned with reality and really the constructs of nature itself. You can really beautify it to your own impression, what you think of it and how you feel in regards to that time. It's just all about creating, and this is the lighthouse. It's that creating that sense of existence of something, the subject, without it entirely being constrained to a set of rules. That's what Impressionism is, creating beautiful impressions of the world we see it, but not how we see it, but how we perceive it. There's the lighthouse. You have a bump here, bumpy. You got the main bit where the light shines through. There was a other building here, but I want this to be isolated. I want it to be standing on its own. Yeah, there you go. Sun. Feels like it's missing something though. The waves are going to be around here, but I just feel like it's missing something. So, man-made, nature. What is something in between? I feel like there's something missing in the composition here. So the waves are going to be crashing in and swooping in over here. That curvature, but there's something missing here. I feel like there's something missing. 1, 2. That balance from here to here. Okay, we're going to balance that with a wave. What I like about Impressionism the most, though, is that, like I said, you don't have to be entirely realistic. Therefore, you don't have to really fear. Okay, waves coming crashing in. Just impressions. Just don't worry about it yet. It isn't going to be the final piece. Yep, swooping waves right here. Kind of like the, you know, the Japanese painting with like swooping waves. Yeah, I definitely feel something should be here. So this is the swooping waves kind of nesting something, a subject here. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something here, right in the middle here. But we'll build it up as we go along. It will reveal itself later on. Waves crashing, quite a violent storm. Then we're going to paint the darker bits. And then here, it's just really the sunset. So this is darker as the sun starts to set. I'm going to change the brush now because we're going to start to fill in. We have the general gist of the shapes and where things are, the subjects, the outlines. Now we're going to start filling in the values. So with this one, I like to use a flat brush just so that we can spread the paint a little bit better. Still using burnt umber for this one. If you want, you can add a little bit of the hue that you're going to be selecting later on, but just mixed with burnt umber as well, so it still remains darker than usual. So if you're going to be using red, use a color red, but use mixed with burnt umber. Or if you're going to be for the ocean, then you can use a darker blue. You see how easier the paint kind of glides through with a flat brush rather than a rounded brush as we ever used earlier. But a round brush is perfect for creating outlines. Okay, that's the darkness of the sunset. That's that done now. We've basically blocked and covered most of the surface area. Now to the trusty tissue paper where we're just going to be rubbing out the highlights. So the brighter area, obviously the sun is the brightest. Gonna rub it out a little bit. Create the sun there. Doesn't have to be precisely the same values of the light. As long as you have a general gist of where the shadows are and the highlights are. So obviously there's going to be lighter as the rays of the sun kind of wraps itself around the surrounding area. This is really where the sun is playing around the skies, almost like a dance. I wanted to kind of dance around this area right here. And then the waves is here. Remember, this is a one, a waves there, swooping right, of course. This one's the big one. Kind of wrapping itself around there. I don't know if you can kind of see the waves there. And obviously that scoops around there. So it kind of just goes along. It's the wavying. I want it to be a little bit more wavy. Just make sure that the highlights can be seen. The paint is starting to dry a little bit now. It's kind of beautiful. It's hard to see it actually. Yeah, buddy. The sky is going to be darker red. So I'm going to be adding a little bit more red. I'm going to be using Scarlet Lake as the red for this one. Okay, so I'm going to be adding a bit of yellow now. I don't know if you can see it, but it's just subtle difference, subtle nuances of the colors. So it's Scarlet Lake red and burnt umber to kind of give that dark reddish tone that I want towards the back of the ocean. Yellow Lake, so the yellow towards the sun. But we're going to be mixing that once again with burnt umber. But I don't want it to be too yellow, so I'm going to mix it with a little bit of that scarlet red residue that I still have left over, just so that it's not too bright.
finally finishing off with the darkness of the ocean. So we just started to paint it the blue, the dark blue mixed with burnt umber, so that we can get the shadows in the ocean. So I hope you like this video, and subscribe to my channel so you can follow the journey of my romantic impressionist piece, so that you can create it yourself as well. And that's it for today. I'm 30, giving you your daily dose of beauty remedy.